waking up. Everybody's always singing about love. To find a matching pair of socks is hard enough. This song is for waking up. This song is for running late to work. Guy behind you is honking like a jerk.
Welcome to Austin After Dark Radio. I'm your host, Patrick Davis, and that was some Ruby Jane. She's got her new debut album out called Celebrity. She's in the studio with us today. How you doing, Ruby?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
And we've also got Andrew. Is this
Trevor?
Trevor. I was really off on that one. I'm not very good with names. Trevor is in the studio with us as well. So you've got your new CD out. Ruby, you've been around for a long time. Your name's a name a lot of people in Austin are familiar with. How long have you actually been playing in town?
Well, we moved to Austin from Mississippi about 4.5 years ago. And moved here actually specifically for the music, because it's such an amazing music city. And so immediately after we moved here, I began playing and sitting in with people around town. Actually, the first night we were in town, I had the opportunity to sit in with Del Watson at the Continental Club. And
nice.
That was a pretty amazing experience. And from then on, the Austin community was really welcoming to me.
When did you start going from playing around and playing with all these different acts to actually go and decide you were going to start writing your own stuff and pushing your own stuff?
Well, I've always been very passionate about my music and about the sound that I wanted to develop and deliver to the world. But I don't think that I was quite ready vocally and maturity-wise until about 1.5 to 2 years ago. And until that time, I'd been honing my chops and playing the fiddle, which of course I love, is my favorite instrument to play. But about 1.5 to 2 years ago, I really reached the point where it was time for me to start cultivating a band and working on my songs and my voice and my music and that sound that I wanted to bring out to the world, because I love playing with other bands, but I've always been passionate about, being my own artist. And so I, began writing more and singing more and getting a band together. And really it's all led to the making of this album, which I'm really considering my debut album.
So you've put out this debut album that's yours. How would you say that? I mean, you've played with, countless names in Austin and around Texas and pretty much around the world, worldwide global acts. How would you say that kind of shaped you and gave you the chops you needed? You're 17 right now, right? 17, put out your debut record. And it's a lot more mature than a lot of records of people with many years of life, but not experience. How would you say that really helped you get your songs to where you get that maturity level now?
Well, it obviously had a really, really big impact on the music that I play now because, I've been playing the violin since I was 2 years old. And so it's my entire life. I was literally playing the violin when I learned to walk. It's my entire life. And so, when I was about 8, I began playing live and I began playing with other bands. And I just have been really blessed to have the opportunity to tour with all these different kinds of musicians and these different genres of music. I mean, from playing more in Mississippi with bluegrass bands and old-time bands, and then after moving to Texas, touring with swing bands and jazz bands and country bands, and then I've also toured with a couple of rock bands, and, just having that experience of being able to stand on stage and play all these different kinds of music, because, I feel like the music that I create now can't really be pigeonholed in one specific genre.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate, because playing all these different kinds of music and experiencing all these different sounds has really helped to shape the music that I have now. And obviously also having experiences of being on the road. I mean, touring on the first main big tour I remember doing, it was with Willie Nelson when I was about 14. And I remember we spent a month on the road and I got so sick. That's a whole nother story. But it was just such an interesting experience for me to have. I mean, at 14 years old. And it was just life-changing to be able to go on tour with legends like that. And so having those experiences, have obviously helped me to grow as a person, which has had an effect on my music as well.
So tell me about how you got the name for the CD, Celebrity. I mean, because you've been somewhat of an Austin celebrity for a while now. Where did you get the name, and why'd you name your CD this?
Well, the Celebrity is kind of a short name for the album. The whole album title is Celebrity Empire of Emptiness, and it's named after one of the main tracks on the album. And really, I felt like through this album, I wanted to send a message of awakening and of renewal and of entering a new stage of your life, because I feel like that's what I'm doing right now. I'm entering, I just graduated high school. I'm entering this new phase of my life. And so this album is really about entering a new stage and turning over a new leaf, but without losing sight of who you are as a person. And so a lot of the songs on the album are about that particular subject. And that song, Celebrity Empire of Emptiness, is about making a change and about going back to the person that you are. And that song was inspired by a lot of what I've seen growing up in the music business has been artists that have been taken over with drugs and with alcohol and have gotten fame and then have lost sight of themselves. And really, I feel like, I want to have an impact on the world, but I want to have a positive impact, and I don't want to lose sight of who I am as a person. And so that song, Celebrity Empire of Emptiness, is from the perspective of a celebrity who is almost reaching out and saying, look, I'm in front of billions of people, and literally every move I make is judged by these people, and I've completely lost sight of who I am as a person. And that's a really important topic for me, because as I progress, I don't want to, lose sight of who I am. So that's really one of the main messages of the album.
All right, well, why don't we give a little treat to our listeners? We're new thing today. We brought Ruby decided to bring in some instruments. Ruby and Trevor brought in some guitars and of course the violin, and they're going to play a track for us. So why don't we go ahead, and I think we're going to play one right now called "The Innocents."
Actually, we're gonna
start
with Intrepid.
We're gonna start with Intrepid.
Okay.
We're gonna start with Intrepid then. That'll work too. It's all good. The whole CD is good.
Thank you so much.
Any song off it's gonna work. This is how about we listen to Ruby Jane, The Intrepid.
Ready?